All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Sports Podcast. And for the fourth part of the show, we are now going to talk about who the best player in baseball is. Because there was a list that ESPN dropped yesterday, and I strongly disagreed with the top five. Not who is in the top five, but the order of the top five. So here is the top five. So at number five, they have Paul Skeens. Okay. You know, going into his second season with the Pirates, I mean, he's going to be a Cy Young candidate. Already off to a great start. They put him at five. But number four, I I can't even believe this. Number four is Aaron Judge. Now, you could say Yankee bias, Yankee bias, Yankee bias. Okay. But come on. I know the postseason was rough, but during the regular season, the guy is coming off of an MVP. This is his second MVP. Should have been his third. He hit 58 home runs last season. Batted over 300. Once again, reminded people that, when he's healthy, he is the best player. He is the best hitter in baseball. And you could say he's the best player in baseball right now because Ohtani's not pitching. How is he at four? Now, no disrespect to Mookie Betts and Bobby Witt, but Aaron Judge should be ranked over them. And then you get to 1 and 2. All right, I mentioned Ohtani. Now, when Ohtani pitches, yes, you could say you could put him over Judge because, Judge doesn't pitch. But Judge is a very good fielder. And he's an elite fielder. Now he's playing back in right field. That's where he deserves to be. Or that's where he should be because, center field, obviously you got to cover more ground. I know he wasn't like, the metrics say he's not a great center fielder, but I don't know. I felt like he was, he's solid out there outside of what happened in the World Series, and I said it before anybody else did because I know if I not have said that, somebody watching this would have said that. But that is where I have my disagreement is Judge being at four. Like if you put him at two, I'll live with it because number one would be Ohtani, even though I probably would put Judge over Ohtani right now. I would. Let's see how Ohtani looks when he comes back to the when he gets back on the mound. If Ohtani goes out there and he pitches really well, then you're not going to get an argument out of me. But right now, Ohtani is just a DH. And Ohtani did hit a walk-off home run last night. The Dodgers still have not lost a game yet. They are now 8-0 on the season. They might break that win record. I know it's only 8 games. I get it, but if this team stays healthy, they could break that win. They could break that win record because they are not going to lose a lot of games this year. They're not. We didn't have a single team over 100 wins last year. They will definitely have over 100 wins. Book it. Anthony says, did you see the interviews after the game with the Mets and the Marlins that both Soto and Lindor are calling for the Mets for an office and ownership to trade for Sandy? I did hear about that. I'd have to look into it more, but I did hear that there was some stuff going on. Because right now the Mets team pitching. They're starting pitching. Although their pitching actually, hasn't really been a problem so far this year. It's kind of been their offense, although, it's picked up these last couple of games because they played against the Marlins. But their pitching actually has been okay. Anthony says maybe the reason why they had Bobby Witt ahead of Judge, maybe the young age. Bobby's still 25. But Ohtani's 30. Ohtani's older than Bobby Witt. If you were ranking the best, young players in the league or something like that, that would make more sense. But Judge is older than Bobby Witt. Ohtani's older than Bobby Witt. It doesn't make sense to me. Now, Bobby Witt had a great year last year. He got a big contract for himself. Not a Juan Soto contract, but still. He was the runner-up to Aaron Judge last year for MVP. But I'm sorry. Aaron Judge has to be ranked over Mookie Betts and Bobby Witt. And then with Ohtani, I would still rank Judge over Ohtani right now because Ohtani's just a DH. But I could live with it. This is where I have a major problem. Now, how would I rank the top five? I would put Judge at 1, Ohtani at 2. I then, when it comes down to Mookie Betts and Bobby Witt, that is a toss up for me, because Mookie is still a really good player, and it's good to see that he's, and he had the walk off the other night. I don't like that he's playing shortstop, but that's what the Dodgers are doing. I mean, they could do whatever they want, basically. You know what? I actually would put Bobby Witt over Mookie right now, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm off base. It's close. I feel like you could change it up there, and then you would put Paul Skeens at 5. I'm fine with Skeens being at 5, and then you got Jose Ramirez. This is where another disagreement I have, actually, in the top 10. You got Jose Ramirez at 6. Then you got Yordan Alvarez, Juan Soto at 8. Really? I feel like Juan Soto, I mean, you could put him in the top 5 if you want. But Juan Soto, to me, I would put over Yordan Alvarez. And I probably would put him over Jose Ramirez, too. Juan Soto is one of the best hitters in the league. I mean, I know I just said the same thing about Judge, but still. Juan Soto, I think, should be higher. I don't think Yordan Alvarez should be ranked over Juan Soto. So I'd put Soto ahead of Alvarez. I'd probably put him ahead of Jose Ramirez. I mean, obviously you don't want to load up on the hitters in the top 5, but could put him over Skeens if you want. But yeah, Soto I think is low. I think you got to put him higher. Zach Wheeler and Tariq Skubal. I mean, Skubal did win the Cy Young last year. Zach Wheeler did finish in the second. Finished second, and he made his second All-Star team. I'd probably put Skubal over Zach Wheeler. So I have a slight disagreement there. Bryce Harper at 11. They have Freddie Freeman at 12. Vlad, Gunnar Henderson, Fernando Tatis, Lindor. Ellie De La Cruz has gotten off to a great start. I'd probably put Kyle Tucker over Corbin Carroll. They got Corbin Carroll ranked over Kyle Tucker. I'd probably put Kyle Tucker. Ronald Acuna at 20, I guess because, he's starting off the year hurt, but I'd probably put Acuna higher. Yeah, but my biggest disagreement with the list is Judge being ranked at 4. To me, Judge is the best player, and Judge has gotten off to a great start. I know the last couple of nights, he struck out a bunch of times against good pitching, but, hey, Diamondbacks are a good team, and I've been saying that, the Yankees were going to be in for a reality check with this series against the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks are a good team. They have a good pitching. They have a good lineup. Their bullpen has been good in this series. So, yeah, you got to tip your cap to them. But, it's going to happen. Anthony also says, what is one issue you see with the Dodgers when you say they're going to have 100 wins? Do you think the Dodgers break the record for the least amount of losses in the regular season or the most amount of wins? I really do think it's possible. The only way I see it not happening is if this team just gets ravaged by injuries. But, you look at the pitching depth that they have. I mean, Dustin May, he made his first start in, I think, 2 years, and he pitched well. You got him. Ohtani hasn't pitched yet. Kershaw is still there. And he's like the 8th starter, I guess. You got Yamamoto. You got Sasaki, who's going to get it going. Snell and Glass. Now, they have a ton of pitching depth in the rotation, in the bullpen. I mean, they could basically piece together a bullpen game because that's how deep this pitching staff is for this team. And then on top of that, you look at the lineup with Ohtani, with Freddie Freeman, who's, is banged up right now, but, it's not a long-term thing. He should be back soon. He's day-to-day right now. You got Mookie Betts, Teoscar Hernandez, Max Muncy came up big last night, hit a 2-run double to tie the game against the Braves, and then Ohtani, of course, walked it off in extras. Or was it the bottom? No, it was the bottom of the 9th. Sorry, it was the bottom of the 9th. But they just have a very deep team. And also Tommy Edman homered last night. And it's just going to be very hard to beat them. It is. Right now you got the Padres and the Diamondbacks. I mean, Diamondbacks got good pitching and a good lineup. Padres, same thing. They're going to lose at some point. And the Braves are playing the Dodgers at the wrong time right now because, well, I mean, they're playing the Padres and the Dodgers at the worst time because they're playing them back to back. And right now they haven't picked up a win yet. Right now the Braves are 0-7 because they've played against the Padres and the Dodgers. And all those teams are off tonight. Dodgers, next team they go up against is the Phillies, so that could be an interesting series. So you got Yamamoto against Jesus Luzardo. That's tomorrow night. Padres will be taking on the Cubs. Cubs scored a bunch of runs against the A's. They had a good series, so they've bounced back after the tough start against the Dodgers. And then for the Braves, they will be taking on the Marlins. And the Marlins right now are 4-3. So the Braves are going to win a game at some point. But it's just tough right now for them. And no team, I think I saw that no team has ever made the playoffs after starting off 0-7. Well, we got a bunch of games left. So the Braves are going to wake up at some point. It's just, it was a tough start for them. So, but yeah, the Dodgers, they're not losing. They're not losing a lot of games this year. Anthony in the chat, I think they're the one team that can trade for Sandy that would give them the Marlins what they want because of the farm system and some of these guys and their pitching staff or bullpen guys. Look, I mean, if the Dodgers traded for Sandy Alcantara, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised by that, but they don't need him. But hey, they could still trade for him if they wanted. They were going after Juan Soto. They don't need Juan Soto. But, if you got Soto in that lineup, that's 4 MVP candidates right there. That's 4 World Series champions right there in your lineup. So, yeah. They are very good. And it angers you because you're like, man, this team is just so good. Who's going to knock them off? I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen this year. I don't. Again, we are only a week into the season, but I just don't see it happening. Do you think the Dodgers break the record for the lowest amount of losses in MLB history? I think it's like 18 or 19 losses, but I can't remember. Well, I mean, look, I'm just talking about wins. I mean, if they win like 116 games, whatever it is, I mean, they're gonna have like 40 plus. They're gonna have 40 plus losses. Like they will win a lot of games, but they're also gonna like it's not like in the NFL where you go undefeated, in a 18 game season now or a 17 game season, 18 week season. Sorry, they're not gonna lose, 18 or 19 games. They're gonna lose a lot more than that. But we'll see. But let me know what you guys think, though. We talked about the Dodgers a little bit, but who's the best player in baseball? I mean, I say it's Aaron Judge. I mean, again, Ohtani hasn't been on the mound in a while. So, if he comes back and pitches really well, then, you're not going to get any argument out of me. But it's Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is the best player in baseball. So we're going to take our final break of the show, and then when we come back, we'll talk about the Raiders and their season, what they've done in the offseason so far. So that is what we will get into when we come back from our final break of the show. So for one final time today, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Sports Podcast.